Welcome to the yoga method and your Vinyasa practice for today. Come and join me in child's pose when you're ready. Knees wide, big toes together, and taking a moment to really just completely surrender your head to the wisdom of your heart and breathing fully and deeply into your body. Can you take a 3-dimensional breath? So breathing into the front and the back of the body, that is one dimension. Breathing into the sides of your body, laterally expanding. That is your second dimension. And finally, lengthening from the crown of the head to your tailbone, third dimension. All 3 dimensions at once. Before we ripple our way up onto our hands and knees, please just explore a happy cat on the inhalation, opening up front body, and on your exhalation, rounding through the roof, tucking your tailbone, looking at your navel center. Just do one more of these, so exaggerating the drawing back of the heels towards the knees. And as we press the palms forward towards the top of the mat, scoop the belly, tuck the chin, looking to your navel. Neutralize, bring your hands a little further forward. And please lift your hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. So bending the knees as much as you want, and I'd love for you just to move in any way that feels delightful to your body. Rolling out through the spine, pedaling out through the heels. Taking one more deep breath in and out. Before pausing in stillness, exaggerating the tuck of your tail as you gaze between your knees. And then lift to the tips of the toes, bend your knees, look to where you're going. Walking or taking one big hop if you're ready. Before we come to a flat back extension, easing our way into a forward fold. Rising all the way up to our extended mountain. Pressing our palms, looking to our thumbs, but then we're going to bend the knees and wrap the arms around the waist. So right arm in front, left arm behind, looking over your left shoulder. We bend the knees so that we fix and stabilize the pelvis. So the rotation's coming from the spine. Just one more breath. And rising on your in-breath, please press your palms towards the ceiling. Exaggerate the length from floor to ceiling before you ease your way over to the right, opening up the left side of the body. Your right elbow will automatically bend, so see if you can lengthen a little more deliberately, flooding the breath into the left lung for one more breath. On the in-breath, we return. Please bring the hands behind your head, heel-toe your feet right to the edge of the mat, and begin to move into a squat. So you might need the hands on your knees for support. Perfect. If it feels available, we'll leave the hands behind us and only descending as far as it feels good to your body. Once you've arrived safely, as the breath comes out of the body, I'd love for you just to draw into a little bit of flexion if it feels appropriate. And then opening the elbows, lifting through the heart as we breathe in. Let's do 2 more. So just a little tuck of the chin. Inhaling to open ever so gently. And one more time, chin towards the chest, bowing in before we open through the elbows wide. See if you can stand up without using your hands, but if it doesn't feel possible, of course, hands to your thighs. Once you've arrived, heel-toe your feet back together, release your arms. Inhaling to lengthen, bend your knees just to stabilize the pelvis as we bring left arm in front, right arm behind. Gazing over our right shoulder, drawing in through the navel, up through the pelvic floor. One more breath before we reach and rise all the way up. Please interlace your fingers, press your palms, and drift your pelvis to the right slightly as the arms move to the left. Iron out the crease of your left elbow and breathe a more deliberate breath into your right lung. One more full breath in and out before we rise back up, Bring hands behind your head, heel toe, do-si-do, all the way to the edge of the mat. And just see if you can descend as far as it feels therapeutic to your body. Once you've arrived, you might be here with your left hand on your knee, or if you're down a little bit lower, holding onto your ankle. So left hand to right ankle and sending your right arm towards the ceiling. Just creating a gentle side bend as we open the adductors and the back of the pelvis for one more breath. Easing our way over to the other side. So however the shape looks for you, perfect. You're pressing your knees towards the pinky toe. You're exaggerating the stability through the core as we open into a gentle side bend for one more breath. Return to the midline. Bring both hands behind the head or to your knees as we rise all the way up to standing. And then parallel your feet and please pour yourself in. You'll either take your hands to your knees or your shins, or you'll pistol grip your big toes. And on your inhalation, exaggerate the length of your spine before gently tucking your chin and bowing yourself into a forward fold. We draw the torso in by using the strength of the arms. We shift the weight slightly forward if we feel safe. And always that gentle lift of Mula Bandha, so your pelvic floor muscles to stabilize and support the fold. Last 2 breaths. One more, please. And on your next inhalation, just lift through your head, lift through your heart. On the exhalation, bend your knees enough that you can step or hop to a high plank. Knees or toes, we're just going to lower halfway and then come straight back up before we lift our hips up and back, either to child's pose or downward facing dog. Just one breath in and out to the tips of the toes. Bend your knees, walking or hopping. We'll lift and lengthen, and please separate your feet once again, hip distance. Elbows support you, hands support you, or sliding hands underneath the soles of your feet. Padahastasana. Lift your chin, lift your chest, and then gently tuck your chin in and bow again. So stacking the pelvis over the knees, over the heels. We gently pull the arms out, but nothing moves, and that will create a little bit more depth in your fold. Is your pelvic floor lifted? Is your core gently engaged? Taking one more full breath, 3-dimensional breath, before we gently lift our heads as we breathe in, exhaling to ground our hands, and then either stepping or hopping. As we lower through a yogi push-up, knees or toes, come straight back up and lift your way into your downward facing dog. One deep breath in, one deep breath out. And on your inhalation to the tips of the toes, bending knees, stepping or hopping, we'll lift and lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Rise and reach to your extended mountain, energizing from floor to ceiling. Before releasing hands home to your heart center, Samastitihi. Please bend your knees, step with your right leg, and just turn towards the back of the mat. So energizing through the feet, through the legs as we line up the heels. And then just gently drift towards your right foot before landing your hand on your thigh, your shin, or your ankle. We want to feel really powerful in the legs and the core, and then lengthen lightness through the torso. So rolling the flesh of your right leg open and stretching energetically towards the ceiling with your left hand. Just take one more breath in. And on your exhalation, look down, bend deeply into this knee, and come to a warrior two shape. So you might lengthen your stance a little bit more, checking right hip and knee is above the ankle. And you can see your big toe clearly on the inside of your knee. If you look to your back leg, you're going to energize it by pushing into the pinky toe. Just take one more breath in and out. We'll lengthen, we'll parallel the feet, we'll catch the hands to the waist and take a gentle back bend shape. On the out breath, hands to your knees or hands to the floor before we lift through the heart and ease our way into a wide leg forward fold. So walk the heels of the hands between your feet. So the heels of the hands line up with the heels of the feet. Press firmly into the pinky toes and see if you can lift your kneecaps by engaging your quadricep muscles. Rechecking pelvic floor and finding that three-dimensional breath. One more full, deep, beautiful breath in and out. On the in-breath, we just lift the heads and the hearts before we turn the toes out and bend our knees. Rising up for a moment, interlace your fingers, press your palms before sliding the hands behind your head. Breathe in to open the heart, to tuck the tail. And on the exhalation, a gentle side bend. Inhale to come up and exhale to gently bow. Inhale, open, reset. Last time to your right. Reclaim your length in the spine. Last time to your left. We'll pause in the middle, we'll energize and reach tall before taking Trikonasana towards the left. So a micro bend in the left knee as we lengthen. You'll feel your end point, and as soon as you find your end point, hand on your thigh, your shin, your ankle. Is there a micro bend in your left knee? Is your left thigh rolling open? And are you feeling powerful through your feet, your legs, and your core? Last 2 breaths. Inhale to exaggerate the length across the heart. And on the out breath, we gaze at the left big toe, bend the left knee deeply, and it's a warrior 2 you're taking. Perhaps you're lengthening your stance a little bit more, but it's the hip and knee alignment, the knee above the ankle, and the shoulders stacking right above the pelvis as you press into the pinky toe side of your right foot. Last 2 breaths. One more full, deep, beautiful breath in and out. We'll come back to the long edge of the mat, slightly pitch into your feet, catch your pelvis, press your hips forward as you open through front body. And on the exhalation, hands to your knees or peace fingers to your big toes. We'll lengthen the head, the heart, the legs on the in-breath before gently bowing into a forward fold. So keeping the legs really powerful to prevent hyperextension of the knees, and then using the strength of your arms and your abdominals to draw you just a little bit deeper into flexion. Take 2 more breaths. One more full deep breath in and out. On the in-breath, ground your hands right underneath your face. And then please just turn your right toe out and begin to walk towards the right end of your mat. So variation 1, we're going to keep fingertips on the earth with the fingertips facing forward. And variation 2, we'll spin the hands the opposite way just to create a lovely wrist stretch through the forearm at the same time that we're opening through the inner seam of the left leg a little deeper. Just one more breath in before we transition the fingertips back and shift to the other side. So toes and knees tracking same direction. We're descending through the pelvis as we press into the outer edge of the right foot. Option to keep your fingertips forward. But if your wrists allow, please just spin the fingertips around. We draw the shoulders back as we open through the throat and through the heart, just for 2 more breaths. One more full deep breath in before releasing the hands, and let's turn towards the top of the mat, please. Slide to your high plank. Take your chaturanga by coming immediately straight back up before sending your hips up and back to your downward facing dog. One deep breath in through the nose, 3-dimensional breath, out through the nose. And on the inhalation to the tips of the toes, bend your knees, look where you're going. Walking or hopping, lift and lengthen. Exhale, gently forward fold. Rising all the way up to standing. Powerful through the feet, the legs, the core. Releasing hands home to your hearts. Samastitihi. Please bend your knees again. Stepping with your right, turning towards the back of your mat. And we'll come into a kneeling position. Right hip and knee aligned, ear, shoulder, hip, and knee stacking. Left hand high as we breathe in. Taking a moment here just to create a little bit of a hip flexor opener. Scoop your belly, tuck your tailbone, so nothing too dynamic. Variation 1, we stay here. Option 2, we'll come across the midline of the body and create a little bit of rotation through the spine. And then that final option of tucking your back toe, energizing through your back leg. So press down into your left elbow, iron out the crease of your left knee, and dynamically lift the abdominals away from the thigh. Taking 2 more breaths in. 1 more goodbye breath in before we gently release the knee, release the twist, and just take a very beautiful hamstring stretch into your half Hanumanasana. So right toes towards the ceiling for a moment. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward. Taking in inhalation to lengthen through your spine. And then please pour yourself in as deeply as it feels beautiful to your body. Last 2. One more full breath in and out. We'll lift the head as we breathe in. We'll ground through the right foot as we breathe out. Lift through your back leg and simply pivot all the way to the other end of your mat. Release the right knee, crawling up with your left hand on your left thigh, right hand reaching high. Tuck the tailbone to stabilize the pelvis. Shift the weight slightly forward to feel a very subtle, gentle stretch through your right hip flexor. Last 2 breaths. Before we come across the midline of the body, palms pressing, elbows stacking, checking your knees stacking over your ankle, and then the final option of lifting into your back leg. So really be powerful through your right elbow, your core, charging your back leg long. Stay and breathe for 3, for 2. 1 more full deep breath in before gently landing your back knee, releasing your twist and coming into half Hanumanasana, a hamstring stretch. So we're checking the hip and the knee are aligned with the ankle. We draw the toes back to exaggerate the sensation through the back of the leg. And at the same time, left hip draws back, right hip draws forward as we lengthen and lift through the spine. 1 breath in. And if it feels good, you're welcome to bow yourself into this sensation for 3 more breaths. On your inhale, we lift the head, we lift the heart. Bring your hands to the inside of the left foot so we can bring that leg around and we'll land in child's pose. But I'd love for you to come into a little bit of rotation with your left arm threading through, right arm to the top of the mat, or reaching high, flipping the thumb and creating a little bit more of a twist. So deliberately pressing down into your left arm to lift the right shoulder skywards. Heels sinking back towards the hips, head gently releasing down. Just 1 more breath as you are. We'll reach high as we breathe in. We'll ground the right hand, unwind the spine, and come through to the other side. So sometimes our yoga practice Just needs to be a little bit more restorative, a little bit more therapeutic. So however we find ourselves stepping onto our mats, we want our yoga practice to make room for however our bodies are feeling on that day. So making modifications, adjustments, so that we can practice yoga on a daily basis rather than only when we're feeling super energized or super flexible or super strong. That is not what our yoga practice is for. Our practice meets us wherever we are. When you're ready, release whatever option you took with your rotational child's pose. And I'd like for you to come to a seated position. So swing your legs around or cross your ankles, coming into staff pose with your hands on either side of your hips. Draw your toes back, pressing down into your hands. So your legs are engaged, your core is engaged. You're energizing through your hands as you draw the head of the shoulders back. Take a breath in to open the throat, lengthen the spine. And then maintaining the length of the spine, we bow the chin towards the chest. Externally, it looks like we're doing nothing. Internally, every muscle is working together. Feel the lift of the pelvic floor, the scooping of the lower belly, and creating this Mahabandha as we engage Jalanara Bandha in the throat, Uddiyana Bandha in the lower belly, and Mula Bandha in the pelvic floor. Just one more breath. On your inhalation, reach high, keep your legs powerful, bend your knees as much as you need, and take a really gentle restorative forward fold with your palms facing upwards, with your feet relaxing and your head and shoulders as well. Closing down the eyes, I would like for you to sway gently from side to side. One breath into the front and the back of the body. One breath focusing on the ribs, the lateral expansion. And one breath from the crown of the head to your tailbone. So this idea of superior and inferior lengthening in the spine. Finding your stillness, finding your softness as you immerse yourself fully and completely for one more breath. And on your inhalation, lift your heads, lift your hearts. Take your hands behind you and bring your left foot over your right thigh. Variation 1 will energize our feet, will lift through the heart, and this is as far as we need to go. Option 2 will testing bending the right knee to create a seated figure 4 shape. And if it feels like there's more space available, we pick up the pelvis, we move it towards the heel, we walk our hands in again, and then we press down in order to lift up before bowing the chin towards the chest, maintaining the length of the spine. Could you broaden your collarbones? And once again, creating Mahabandha. So pelvic floor, lower belly, and this throat lock. Just one more glorious breath in and out. We'll lift our chin. If your leg is not straight, you'll begin to lengthen through your right leg. And I'd like for you to come into Sukhasana with your left leg in front of your right. Taking a moment to sit tall with your hands resting on your knees, closing down your eyes. Just stay and breathe. 3 three-dimensional breaths. A loving reminder that your nose is for breathing and your mouth is for eating. One more breath. Feeling that beautiful quality of energy before we open the eyes. Take our hands behind us and lengthen our legs once again. Right leg above the left knee. Encourage the right knee into external rotation. Draw the toes back into dorsiflexion and find maximal length in your spine. Variation 1, we stay there. So if you're feeling beautiful sensation, stay as you are. Option 2, we play with bending through the left knee and grounding through the right foot. And if it feels like there's a little bit more spaciousness, we lift the pelvis, we shift the weight forward, we walk our hands in, we re-exaggerate the length of the spine as we open the throat chakra, and then we bow the chin towards the chest. Are your collarbones broad? Is your pelvic floor gently lifting with your lower belly? How smoothly, how softly can you breathe as you immerse yourself in the sensation of the body and the depth of your breath? One more full, deep, deep, deep breath in. A little ant has found his way onto my leg. And when you're ready, if your leg is not straight, please lengthen it out. And let us come into Sukhasana once more with your right leg in front of your left. Hands on your knees. Exaggerate the lift of your heart. But this time with your left hand, I'd like you to take Chin Mudra with your thumb and your index finger lightly touching. And on your right hand, peace fingers between your eyebrows as you lift through your heart, close down your eyes. We breathe in together. We completely empty the lungs. And at the end of your exhalation, seal your right nostril. Breathe in only through your left. Pause and hold. Seal the left. Open the right. Breathe out through the right. Breathe in through your right. Pause and hold. Seal the right. Open the left. Breathe out through your left. Breathe in through your left. Pause and hold. Seal the left. Breathe out through your right. Breathe in through the right. Pause and hold. Seal the right. Open the left. Just in your own time. One more round of Nodi Shodhana. This beautiful breathing pranayama practice that brings such calmness and stillness to the mind and the body. When you've completed that last round, right hand also moves to Chin Mudra, thumb and index finger lightly touching. Press your elbows, lift your heart, eyes remain closed. This gesture of the ego bowing to the higher wisdom of the heart. And with the fingers taking that mudra, we also mirror that by bringing the chin towards the chest one more time. Running the awareness up and down your spine. Breathing in from the pelvic floor to your third eye. And on your exhalation from the third eye, trace the line of the spine all the way down to the base to your pelvic floor. Just taking 2 more breaths. And on your next inhale, lift your chin, release the mudra, and allow yourself to navigate your way to the floor. Once you are supine, once you're laying on your back, just take a moment to gather your knees in, deloading your spine completely as we rock the body gently. We'll finish with just a little bit of a twist rotation. So we'll ground through our feet. We'll take our arms into cactus as we shift the pelvis slightly to the left and the knees gently journey to the right. Maybe right hand comes to right thigh, and you're either looking skywards or to your left. Top leg variation, anything that feels wonderful to you. So that leg could slide ahead, you could lengthen it, you could catch it with your hand. Wherever your body is asking you to go, please honor it. Taking 2 more breaths. Immerse yourself in this moment. Immerse yourself in your body. Before returning your eyes, restacking your knees, use your core to safely come to the middle. A little tiny shift of your pelvis to your right as your knees journey to the left. And recreate the shape you took on your first side. So sliding your top leg ahead, maybe lengthening it, and either looking skywards or looking to your right. The awareness comes into your right lung, your right lower back, your right hip. Just 2 more immersive breaths. Before returning our eye gaze, returning our knees. Hug your knees one last time and just take a very brief inversion in your happy baby pose. So holding your knees, holding your calves, or reaching for your feet. We draw the chin in to lengthen the neck. We deliberately melt the shoulders and slide them down away from the ears. And then run your awareness down your spine and encourage heaviness in your tailbone. Just one more full, smooth, expansive breath before we release our knees to our hearts, our feet to the floor, and just take a moment in Supta Baddha Konasana, your butterfly. So soul to soul connection with your hands, maybe resting on your thighs or supporting them from below. And if it feels good, reach high, catch the opposing elbow, and nestle your arms above your head. Close your eyes. Feel the back of your body and allow it to relax. And running the awareness over the front of the body, allow it to relax. Taking 2 more 3-dimensional breaths. Front, back, side, and lengthening all at the same time. You are welcome to stay in butterfly or letting your legs go long, letting your arms slide down and around, and pausing in stillness in your Shavasana just for a few moments. Remembering that there are no ordinary moments. Every moment divine. Every moment a gift. So how fully and completely can you immerse yourself in this moment, in your life? There are no ordinary moments. As you stay and breathe, just feel your inner stillness, feeling your inner stillness. And can you hear, can you listen to your inner silence? Tuning your senses inwards. really inhabiting your inner world. Taking 4 more breaths. Staying in Shavasana longer if you can. But if you are ready to reawaken with me, we will begin to breathe a little more deeply, a little bit more deliberately, expanding the awareness, elevating our energy, and begin to bring gentle, mindful movement to your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet, your hips, your shoulders, your necks. And then we bend our knees one at a time. We gather our knees to our hearts and we hug ourselves lovingly. We rock our bodies very, very gently. And then we roll lightly to the right hand side, staying for 1 intentional, immersive breath before rising to a seated position, grounding into the earth, lengthening through our spines, and finding a little lightness in our hearts as our hands find Anjali Mudra. We take 1 unified breath in, and as we exhale, consciously sending our love, our blessings, our hopes, our prayers out into this world. And our final breath together, closing our practice with a bow. Namaste. Thank you, beautiful yogis. I hope you've enjoyed this foundational flow, and I look forward to seeing you soon.